So shall we start?
Yes, sir.
So, so we have finished discussing the out of four techniques available under work measurement. We have finished discussing on work sampling. So work sampling is a technique where method study is not a prerequisite. Whereas if you take stopwatch time study, method study has to be completed. Then only you can start stopwatch time study. Whereas work sampling is a very versatile technique in the sense, uh, like sometimes certain worker might complain that he is waiting too much for the maintenance engineer to repair his machine, or sometimes he may complain about that raw materials are not coming at the right time to his machine, and a lot of time wastage is coming on his machine because various other factors. So sometimes when you want to handle such kind of complaints, like whether receptionist at a hotel complaining about overload or underload, or similarly a group of clerks complaining that we need additional hands. In such cases also work sampling can be a very useful technique, because and it is also non-invasive. Non-invasive in the sense, like you don't continuously study the workers to know their behavior. We only take a sampling. We'll do sampling of his work, and based on that sample, you try to estimate the breakup of his how he is spending the time at his workplace. It is just like similar to your psephology. Psephology means it is the science of election prediction, Gallup polls. So what in Gallup polls or psephology they do is they take a sample opinion. Like for example, Pranay Roy or Vinod Dua, particularly during election time, they try to predict the outcome of an election by taking samples. Say they collect around 10,000 samples, sample opinion, and then try to predict the outcome of an election. Similarly, here also in work sampling, what we are doing only sampling of the work situation and then trying to predict the breakup of time that a worker or a group of workers are, how they are uh, using their time in the workplace. So, whereas so much time study, it is a here we use this whenever an accurate time of completing a job is necessary. Like particularly this stopwatch time study is very useful technique whenever we have to uh, perfectly balance a assembly line, where certain bottleneck workstations have to be resolved to get an accurate picture of how much time a worker is taking to complete a particular task. So, so this stopwatch time study, but for one condition for conducting stopwatch time study is, first of all, you should have completed your method study, because unless you are sure that method that you have selected consists of only value added activities and minimum non value added activities. So only when you have selected the right method, then only there is a basis for selecting a, then only there is a sense in timing it. So if you just estimate the time of an existing method, then like it is not useful for any purpose. So sometimes a stopwatch time study is also useful to compare two methods. Which one is best in terms of time consumption? Apart from taking other criteria like ease of use and then reducing the fatigue on the worker, there are some other considerations also, right? In that, just 1 minute. So here, uh, anyway, like yesterday we have discussed how to conduct work sampling, and then now we are entering into the uh, um, this stopwatch time study. So here in stopwatch time study, what we do is we uh, conduct this. Like these are the steps in making a time study. When the work to be measured has been selected, the making of a time study usually consists of 8 steps. So, first step is obtaining and recording all the information available about the job, the operative and the surrounding conditions, which is likely to affect the carrying out of the work. Right? So, uh, so obtaining and recording all the, so that means in a way we are saying that this method study has been fully defined. Using method study, you have completely defined the method of working. So, uh, recording a complete description of the method, break down the operations into elements. So here, unlike the you have seen in method study that we in detail note down the activities, right? So here, there, you know, like transporting the work material, then machining it, then doing some assembly, doing some painting. You know, you may be doing that in method study, but here you have to record the complete description of the method, breaking down the operation into elements. So, what is the meaning of this elements? This element means we are saying that this element means here the criteria for dividing the method into elements is each element should be have a distinct start moment and distinct end moment, so that that particular element can be accurately timed. So that is the meaning of this. So here we break the method into elements, so that and and also what we do here is examining the detailed breakdown to ensure that the most effective method and motions are being used and determining the sample size. So anyway, like when we are conducting method study, already that should have been taken care of, like ensuring that the most effective method and motions are being used and determining the sample size. So here the sample size, similarly, just as you have observed in work sampling, here also what we are doing is we are selecting a what you call here also we are uh, uh, here also we are taking um, we have to select an effective method, right? So like just like we have seen that in one of the case studies where cutting of glass tube, how we have seen to it that the number of steps have been reduced from 8 steps to only 2 steps, and all the 2 steps are also there are no ineffective movements. Most of them are effective movements. So we have taken the help of some jig and fixer to fix the part and also to identify the right size whenever we cut. So we have taken both the jigs and a fixer, a jig and a fixer to ensure that it is a failure-proof method of doing one. So here you have to keep one thing in mind is that each element might take different times. So your sample size can be different in each case. Like for example, like if you say you take the example of your say your own house. So some guests come to your house, and your mother, in order to offer them a tea, like she starts preparing tea. So if you break down, if you see that procedure she follows in tea making, like first thing that she does is put some water, and then on the stove, lid the stove. So when that water is boiling, meanwhile when the water is boiling out, it is getting heated up. She will do other things, like she will start searching for where the sugar is, where the cups are there, where the tray is there. She will pre-arrange the cups. She will take. She will identify where the tea filter is there to filter out the what do you call that powder after boiling. So in that, so there are certain things like, and each element takes different time. And so normally what happens is you have to break those elements into various categories. That means various categories means, say for example, there is what is so called governing element. Governing element means which governs the whole entire operation. In the tea making, the governing element is boiling of water, because during that boiling of water, she can do other things, right? Similarly, you have to categorize the elements into governing element, constant element. Constant element means like uh, like igniting the stove, and a variable element means like a governing element can be variable element also. Like for example, depending on the guests, number of guests, sometimes only a single guest comes. So in that case, she will put only water sufficient for us to prepare 1 cup of tea. Suppose half a dozen people come, then the boiling time will change. So even though it is a governing element, but it is variable. So there is a, so that means an element can be both, like they are not mutually exclusive. Governing element can be variable or constant, and then there is a element called occasional element. Occasional element means sometimes mother suddenly finds that like the there the matchbox has exhausted, so she will open uh, a new matchbox, or she finds that she has to open a new milk packet, or sometimes for every uh, 10 situations, once in a while she has to open a new tea packet or tea uh, box. So that means occasional. In every element, this occasional element may not occur in every cycle, but it occurs once in 10 cycles or once in 20 cycles. If you take our own mechanical situation, like you may have to sharpen your cutting tool for every 10 components that you machine. So that is an occasional element. So like that, you have to break that. Now coming to like determine the sample size. So here, what we have to find here is that like once you have divided the elements, there are different elements take different times. So you take what is the average time of all these elements, or if you are a very conservative guy, what you do is you take the smallest element in your method. Suppose like, so as like boiling of water, it will take 1 minute. right? Another element like distributing tea in the cups, it may take 10 seconds. Say, let us, if you are a conservative guy, like you go for the minimum elemental time, and based on that, you try to calculate the sample size. So, and then that decides the number of times you have to ask the worker to repeat so many times so that you get an accurate. See, this is also, even though stopwatch is a, even though we are saying that it is a continuous, we continuously watch, but this is also taking a sort of a worker time. See, like we are keeping him aside and trying to measure how much time a worker will take to complete a job, right? So that is also a sample, taking a sample of his routine work. So then what you have to do, once you have, say, let us say like you have found that you at least 75 times the worker has to repeat this procedure, this whole, like like it is like asking your mother to repeat tea making 75 times. And then only you can accurately guess how much time on the average your mother will take to prepare tea for the guests who have come to your house. So it is not that like you take only one instance of your mother's work and say like this is the time mother takes to prepare the tea for the guests. At least she has to, let us say like, you may have found that based on this 10 element 10-second element time, you have found that using some, see there are standard tables, just like in your in thermal engineering, you know, steam tables, you have some data books now. So similarly here also, there is, fortunately there are some uh, nomograms available. Based on that, we will try to see how many times the worker has to repeat the work. So here, what we do is, like let us say, if you have found that at least the worker or the uh, whom you are observing, he has to repeat the procedure 75 times, and we will, in every cycle, we will note down how much time the worker is taking for each element, right? So to get the term, what we do is to measure time, we usually use stopwatch. You know, in races they use stopwatch. No? So like that, measuring with a timing device and recording the time taken by the operator to perform each element of the operation, right? So you individually measure the time of each element, right? Even occasionally you also measure the occasional element, and at the same time assessing the effective speed of working of the operative relative to the observer's concept of rate corresponding to standard rating. So here, see, there are, this is the most controversial step in time study. That is, here, assessing the effective speed of working of the operative to the observed rate of corresponding to the standard rating. So here, this is one of the subjective aspects of measuring work. Say, for example, that's why, as I said yesterday, ILO recommends that you use this stopwatch time study as a method of last resort when you have solved every other problem. Because most of the time, There is always a difference of opinion between industrial engineering concept of effective speed and the operator's perception about his own speed. Say, for example, let us take one other routine example. So, like for example, I don't know how many of you play bridge game. So, in bridge game, there are 52 cards, and you have to distribute that 52 cards to 4 people, right? As per the normally, how much time you are expected to take? Hmm? Any one of you play bridge game?
26 seconds.
Huh?
26 seconds, like approximately 20 to 30.
Actually, as per ILO, you have to take only 0.38 minutes. That comes to say 0.48.
Approximately.
Around 24 seconds you have to take. As per, but some people who are very professional players, they may take only 20 seconds. People like you and me may take 30 or 40 seconds because sometimes our hands are not so habituated to playing cards. So normally the guy who is the so-called um, this 24 if a bridge player is distributing the cards in 24 seconds, normally he is rated as 100%. Suppose if somebody does within 20 seconds, so like he will be rated somewhere around say 120%. And suppose if somebody takes a lot of time, maybe you put him as 70%. Like those guys who are taking 30 seconds to complete it. So people have introduced a concept called rating system. So this this concept is a bit subjective in the entire method of. See, there are two controversial items in stopwatch time study. That is, one is rating the worker. Another is like another controversial item is allowances. That means how much free time you have to give to the worker so that he can physically and mentally relax for some time when he is doing the work. See, a man cannot be working continuously for the entire 480 minutes that he is there on the shop floor, right? He will have to take some tea in between. Times he has to go to toilets. He has to take lunch. And suppose if the environment is very very humid kind of environment or heat one, then you may have to give more allowances. Like for example, go to Vizag steel plant. Those who are working near blast furnace, their timings are only say 4 or 5 hours out of 8 hours. Rest of the 3 hours they have to take rest because people may die because of heat exhaustion. So you can't ask the worker to continuously work at the blast furnace. So here, and most of the time, what happens is allowances are normally it depends on the lung power of the what do you call our union. Sometimes say, sir, for physical and mental relaxation, at least you have to provide 10% of the basic time or 15% of the time. Say if it is a clerical work, maybe you give only 6% because there is no physical work, but it may be a bit mental fatigue you may be subjected to. So here, what we do here is we ask the operator to repeat the each element for the given number of times So what we do is, and we take a stopwatch and uh, calculate the observed time each time, just like here in this recording tool. So here what you find, you record, you make a description of the element, and then observe time. You find out how many, like here he has given only 10, but sometimes if it is a very short cycle time, the number of observed time, the number of observations may be more than that, right? So then total OT of the time, then average OT, right? So to this average OT, you multiply with your rating of the worker. So how efficiently, how uh, with what kind of confidence he is doing that particular element. See, it is not that every worker is equally proficient about executing every step of the, some are a bit clumsy in executing a particular ailment. In that case, the rating can come down. So what we are doing is here, we are repeating each element, say for so many number of times, then find out total OT, then average OT. Then what we do is you multiply that with what you call uh, with the rating, right? And then you get basic time, right? So what you do is you get all the basic times of the uh, what you call every element, and then what you do is extend the observation time to basic time by multiplying with the standard rating, right? And then determine the allowances to be made over and above the basic time for the operation, and then determine the standard time for the operation. So this is how like we calculate the uh, standard time. So here I have given just one example. Like suppose like the average observed time is, say, average of observed times when you have repeated a particular element so many times, right? Just 1 minute. So here, what we are doing. So uh, here, what we do is we take average of OT after taking average of the observed times, and then you multiply this observed time with rating, then you get the basic time for that each element, right? So say let us say 24, and then standard time is nothing but sum of all the basic times plus allowances, right? That is how you calculate the standard time of completing a particular job. So you have to submit the basic time. So here this is given as some sigma BTI, that is basic time. So ST is equal to sigma BT plus allowances. So normally allowances are given in terms of sigma BT, that is percentage of. So here, if you say like allowances are 15%, that means it is nothing but 15% of the basic time. So that is how you calculate the what you call uh, uh, the basic times of like that is how you calculate the standard time using stopwatch time study. So here what we do is like if it is an occasional element, what we do is we will take, like suppose you take a fraction of this occasional time depending on its frequency of observation, frequency of occurrence. So you have to be careful about this occasional element, right? Anyway, variable element again you try to take average of different cycles and then take an average of it. So here that is how like you calculate the standard time for the operation. So as I said, two controversial items in stopwatch time study is one is rating of the worker. So unless industrial engineer is thoroughly trained in rating a worker, you cannot put him to determine the standard time. Similarly, like when you want to what you call want to time the time of completion of a particular method, the worker should have sufficient experience to handle that one. See, like we have a concept called learning curve, right? So what it says is, so you reach this plateau region, this particular region, after around when worker has repeatedly did that job for at least 3,000 cycles. So this is what we call it as learning curve, right? So initially he may be taking a lot of time. When he started learning about the new method, he may take a lot of time, but but he may take initially at a cycle time maybe this one, but after getting habituated to the to that new method, he may end up getting he may end up doing only within this time, right? Just 1 minute. అదే కృష్ణమూర్తి అని ఉంటాడు. ఆ, లేకపోతే వాళ్ళ బామ్మర్ది. హలో హలో బాబు, నేను కృష్ణానందనం. ఆ, ఆ బామ్మర్దికి ఇచ్చేది మనం. ఆ, ఓకే సరే. So here, like normally the difference in this time, like by the time he gets experience of repeating the same procedure 3,000 times, he may be taking only 1/3 of this original CD. It is just like if, like initially, you can take from your own example. Initially, to type an email, you may be taking a lot of time by searching for each of the letters on your keyboard. But as you have developed experience, na, initially you may take 5 minutes to complete an email, but later, when you have repeated that procedure, you may be surprised to know that you are taking only 1 minute for the same size of email. So similarly, you have to take up time study only when the worker has developed sufficient experience to handle that particular method. Then only there is a meaning in using stopwatch time study to measure the actual. Because see, most of the time, like whenever we are repeating a job, we should not. Finally, we will be doing that job by where your motions are automatic. It is just like your finger seems to be knowing automatically, like where the letter Q and where letter T and Y, right? So in that way, when workers develops, like he repeats the same procedure for say around minimum of 3,000 cycles, his motions become automatic, and that at that moment start time study. So don't start with a novice worker, because he will be searching for everything in every step. So this is where normally people go wrong. So you have to take a stop at time study when worker has the necessary skills, experience to handle that particular procedure or process. So this is how you do conduct stopwatch time study. So here, now coming to the predetermined time standards, what happens is, uh, predetermined time standards means like a company might develop its own database of certain standard processes. Say, for example, like just like in Taylor case, Taylor has observed that a worker can lift 10 kgs comfortably throughout the day. So, you, like whenever it is a question of transferring certain loads, whether it is limestone, pig iron, wheat husk, that has to be like now the you know the basic information. So you accordingly design the shovels. So similarly, for certain routine processes or elements, you need not again reinvent the wheel. So you can, for certain elements, you don't ask the worker to repeat. Only those elements which are new to that particular uh, job, those elements only you ask the worker to repeat so many times. So sometimes you bring in those predetermined time standards to find out the time standard instead of repeating a full stopwatch time study. Similarly, standard data means, say for example, like if you take, as I said now, this stopwatch time study is very useful technique as long as you repeat that process so many million times, million if not million, say a 50,000 times or a lakh times. But in job order production system, so you hardly get the same job of the same type every year. So in that case, but still you want to know how much time you are likely to take to complete a job order production system. All right. So in that case, what you do is, first of all, you prepare a process plan for that particular method, particular job, and then based on that process plan, you try to fetch standard data from database of say ILO and find out roughly the total time you will be taking to complete that particular job. And based on, once you got that total time to complete a particular job, then it is easy for you to do costing, to arrive at to quote tenders, to estimate the total time to complete a particular project or job, and you can do costing the job. So much information can be generated from that standard data. So standard data and predetermined time standards are useful for non-repetitive jobs, non-repetitive or not so repetitive jobs. So like for example, batch, even for batch type of production system, where your batch size is say less than 2 digits, like 50, 60, then in that case, conducting stopwatch time study is a waste of your time. So instead you use some database of, search in the database of ILO or some other commercial database vendors are there. So from that you compile the total time, complete a particular job, and based on that total time you do costing, and based on that time you also quote for tenders. To whenever some tender comes to your side. So this is what we do in stopwatch. So this completes the discussion on work measurement. So I request all of you to uh, solve certain problems in work study, because uh, in the end exam you are likely to get some problems on it. So in the next class, so Is Kalyan is there? In the crowd? Hello, Kalyan? Hmm? So do you have 8 to 9 class tomorrow?
Yes, sir. We have exam.
Tomorrow.
Yes, sir. 8:30 to 9.
What about day after tomorrow, 8 to 9? Because I need at least 5 classes for quality management.
Sir, today can you take, sir, afternoon?
Afternoon, see, from 3:30 onwards, I have a lot of meetings.
Actually, we don't have afternoon classes today. From tomorrow onwards, we have minus 2 minors a day and hectic schedule, sir.
Okay. Uh-huh. Today, okay. Today, shall we have 2 to 3?
Hello, hello, sir.
2 to 3 is okay? No, no.
Actually, B section,
Anyway,
I don't
what
know,
we
sir.
will do is, we will do one thing. So let us fix a 2 hours class on Saturday, 4
Sir,
to
I'm
6.
okay, sir. You can take on evening. You can take on evenings 4 to 6.
Huh?
Hello,
Hello?
sir.
Ah,
Saturday, okay, sir. You can take from 4 to 6.
yeah. We will take Saturday 4 to 6. Okay.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
when will be our minor, sir? Second minor.
Second minor, mostly it will be on Monday.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, so Saturday we have 2 hours class.
Yes, 4 to 6.
Okay, sir.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Shall I exit? Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.